If you are thinking about or in the process of obtaining a nurse registry license from AHCA in the state of Florida and want to learn 5 important tips to help with this license application process before you start, then this video is for you. In a nutshell, the license process usually requires the preparation of an extensive application, payment of varying fees, proof of insurance, background checks, the preparation of a proof of financial ability to operate form, which I'll explain shortly, and the AHCA website has different rules for each type of healthcare provider. For instance, there are specific forms for a Florida nurse registry, and therefore you should go to the AHCA website and learn about these forms. This is a very brief summary, so let's get going. First, you gather all your tools, and you have to commit the time to spend. You got to begin thinking about your business plan. What are your sources of revenue, number of nurses and other employees that will be operating your nurse registry, and your cost to operate. This type of information is key to developing and preparing your proof of financial ability to operate, the PFA. This is the second time I've mentioned the proof of financial ability to operate, so let's discuss it a little more because it's a very important form to understand. The proof of financial ability to operate, it's not a simple form. It's rather a complex form and is designed so that the applicant can demonstrate to AHCA that the applicant has a well thought out financial plan to deliver nurse registry services and is knowledgeable of that business, and that the projected operations, that's your revenue and expenses and your cash flow, are all achievable. The proof of financial ability to operate is effectively a formalized screening process designed to filter out the non-serious applicant or those that may not have the know-how, that's how to operate a nurse registry, nor have the financial resources, that is the financial ability to operate, thus required to provide nursing services to Florida residents. It's important to go to the AHCA website to become familiar with the entire application process and to learn about the application forms, checklists, and the proof of financial ability to operate. The instructions for the proof of financial ability to operate and all the requirements are really, really important for you to understand. The next step is decide, what do you want to do? Do you want to prepare the form yourself, or do you want to hire someone to help you prepare the form? The decision is up to you. If you are good at spreadsheets, understand AHCA's instructions, confident that the completion of the form is easy, then prepare the form yourself. What's unique about the application form for nurse registries is that you can prepare it yourself. You do not have to hire a CPA, which is required for all other proof of financial ability forms to operate. Most applicants feel the form is too complex for them. I think the analogy is similar to buying bedroom furniture from IKEA with thousands of pieces. So if you feel the same way about complex financial forms, then another suggestion is to use a CPA, a bookkeeper, or a non-CPA accountant. But a word of caution, make sure they have experience in preparing this proof of financial ability to operate and know how to write the assumptions and footnotes which are required disclosure in the form when it's submitted by you to AHCA, and I'm going to be explaining about that shortly. So if you are preparing the proof of financial ability form, I think it's really important for you to check it thoroughly and to understand the instructions. It's so important that I have another slide coming up explaining what these instructions are and what they look like so you're familiar with them. So please make sure you understand them and you fill out the form correctly, otherwise it will be rejected. For this reason, the next slide I'm going to show you what the instructions look like. I've underscored a couple important areas which I want to talk about. This is what the instructions look like. I apologize if you have any difficulty in reading the form, but you can download it from the AHCA website and it'll be much easier to read. I want to highlight a few important areas, and the first area is in the assumptions used. The instructions state that the assumptions are key to AHCA's understanding of your projections and notes, which must be attached to the projection so AHCA can understand the assumptions. Now you see Schedule 2, Estimated Provider Cost and Source of Funds. This schedule computes and shows AHCA the amount of pre-opening costs, contingency, and working capital requirements that you will need until you achieve positive levels of cash flow. Also, Schedule 1 of the Proof of Financial Ability to Operate requires that the applicant provide independent evidence of sufficient funds for startup, working capital, and contingency. Examples of this kind of evidence is right in the instructions, statements from a financial institution, etc. For an introduction to the proof of financial ability to operate, which is beyond the scope of this video, please refer to my introductory video for an understanding of the form, and also refer to my video to learn about the most common question asked, and that is, what is the required funding? And this can be found if you look at the #1 question video on my YouTube playlist. Step 5. It's best to submit it only after you have reviewed it. After you complete all of the AHCA required forms, take your time, review it, then re-review it. Then also reread the Proof of Financial Ability to Operate instructions. It's best for you to perform the review the next day after a good night's sleep. And then when you're satisfied, then it's complete and you can file. I hope you found this video helpful. If you need assistance, feel free to contact me. Finally, if you found this video helpful, please click the like buttons and subscribe before you go.